Torian, can you kind of talk about what the, I guess, learning process has been under Coach Bateman for the first few spring practices and kind of what that learning process is like and getting acclimated to him?
I feel like, it's a different type of coaching style, but it's a good coaching style for sure. I feel like Coach Bateman is very thorough and intricate with the details that he presents us in the meeting room. So I feel like, the defense is great. It's very much different and a lot more detailed, but I feel like it's great, and I think it'll help us out a lot.
Let's go back to the TV row. We'll go to Ben and then Nicole.
Hey, Torian, I can't remember. I think it was earlier today, but Dave, and I know y'all are focused on your work and not resting on your laurels, but I think Dave Campbell's Texas Football came out with the best linebackers in the state of Texas for college football. They had you as the top linebacker. First off, just being a Texan and, knowing what that publication means, what's it like to see your name up there? And then I guess off of that, too, being a guy last year kind of coming in, working your way through, I don't know what expectations were, but for you to kind of see that recognition, just what does all that mean to you?
Well, I would say as far as the Dave Campbell Award, I feel like it's awesome, because I saw myself rise through the rankings for sure. I think they had me like around 65 or 66 player in the whole state of Texas, regardless of position. And then also I feel like a lot of recruiting websites have me like as a top 10 linebacker, maybe 10, 11, things like that. Just so to see myself be named number one amongst all ages, not just freshman class, I think that's God's work. Hats off to my parents, hats off to me, hats off to the previous coaching staff for just allowing me to play like that for sure. But then also just learning the playbook, things like that helped me out a lot. And I definitely had huge expectations for myself, and I didn't know how I was going to reach them, but I definitely had those goals in sight, and I'm just glad that I was able to accomplish them.
Stay in the back. We'll go to Nicole from KBTX and then Donna.
Torian, just with the coaching change and players choosing to leave or also going to the, hopefully to the NFL, just you staying here, do you see yourself kind of stepping into a certain leadership role, having the experience from last year?
100%. I feel like as my defense, I feel like the guys are very receptive to the way I lead and how I call the plays for sure. And I feel like whenever things are in the thick of the season, thick of spring ball right now, going to the team exercise, I feel like they all look to me for the cause, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Torian, can you talk about just back here? Can you talk about just with the new coaching staff, like Coach Spencer, they call him Coach Chaos, and like just working with the defensive line and the linebackers coaches and all of that? What kind of energy have they brought just to the defense in general?
I mean, it's a whole new brand of energy, whole new brand of defense, but I feel like Coach Chaos never lacks energy, Coach Ish never lacks energy, so I feel like we're very hyped up, we're ready to play, so by the time we get out to the practice field, I mean, we're just ready to go, hear the pads click, and I feel like I'm glad that they're coaching us now.
Go to Olin here in the middle, and then Carter and Travis.
Torian, that last year, how you were working directly with a guy that looks like could be a first-round pick in the draft. So it's early, but any thoughts on some of the guys that might be playing next to you this year, and what are your early evaluations, I guess?
I feel like they're all good. I feel like everybody, I feel like I set the standard for when it comes to the linebacker room for sure. I feel like when it comes to the freshmen, they're definitely following my footsteps, like Jordan Lockhart, Tristan Jernigan. I feel like a lot of the habits that I have when it comes to football, they incorporate into their style of play as well, and even their style of learning as well. Like we're in the training room, everybody has their playbook with the install, watching film, and then even the older guys like Alex, Damian, Scooby, they all take care of business as well. They're a little bit older, so they have their own regimen, but I for sure feel like I set the standard for the 2024 class and the classes that come after them.
Front row with Travis Brown for the Eagle.
Hey, Torian. It seems from what we've gotten to see at practice, there isn't coaches keep on guys for making sure they put forth the effort, even with loudspeakers and such. Have you seen a good flow, constant effort from everybody because of that kind of standard?
Of course, I feel like effort can overcome a lot of things in the game of football. Whether you mess up, whether you bust the coverage, whether you misfit the run, I feel like if you have great effort, I feel like you can overcome a lot of things for sure. So effort and attitude is something that Coach Stewart always preached to me at Temple High School, and I feel like when I got here, it was like a common theme with defense. Like if you have great effort, I feel like you can overcome a lot for sure.
Were you recruited initially with Coach Elko or any of his staff, or is this kind of your first go with him?
Yeah, actually, Coach Elko has always been high on me since I would probably say the 10th grade. I feel like Coach Elko always, A&M usually attracts brighter 4- and 5-star players, but Coach Elko was always thorough with me. He always told me, like, I think you're a great player. I think that you can definitely help us out. It was just a matter of when I would get the offer, and then, thank God it came the last week of high school for sure. But Coach Elko has a great relationship with my trainer at Band Performance, so they would talk before I could legally talk to Coach Elko, like whenever I was a sophomore for sure. So I always have respect to Coach Elko since the day I met him.
Go to the right side to Carter from 247.
So, Torian, last spring when you got here, I guess maybe no one would have expected what you did last season. How do you kind of go from being, I guess, the underdog and trying to earn a spot to being the guy, like I said, being the leader of the room? How do you kind of make that adjustment?
I feel like I made the adjustment when I was in ninth grade of high school, for sure. I came in as a middle schooler at Temple High School, and then I started every game in high school as well at the 6A level. So I feel like, the first freshman year is always going to be acclimation period just because style of play, the physicality, going from middle school to high school to college, things like that. But I feel like how I got here is what I'm going to continue to do, and that's always just been working hard, taking care of my body, and studying the playbook. And is it your birthday?
It is.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Also going to ask about Tommy Moffitt. Elko described him as a 25-year-old as far as like what he feels like with analytics and just how he studies sports science. I'm wondering kind of the impression you get of him as far as what it's been like to work under him.
I feel like Coach Moffitt was a great addition to our staff, if not the most important addition to our staff for sure. Because like I said previously, I feel like he can coach everybody on the team because, the quarterback coach isn't really coaching the D-line, but Coach Moffitt coaches all positions. He has a good grasp of the entire team, so the discipline and the standard that he has set is definitely thrusted our program in the right direction.
Let's go left side front. Robert Sessa from the Eagle.
So a lot of these guys have 3 and 4 springs to compare. You only have 2. So what are the difference you see so far? I know it's already from this spring, say last spring. What are the differences?
The effort, the discipline, the use of science when it comes to practice. Like I know the first period that the media gets to see is the pursuit period, and I feel like that definitely just gets the ball rolling for practice. It sets the tone. He wants everybody running at least 85 to 100% of their full speed. So they use our full speed, our max speeds that we track throughout the first 3 months of spring to measure how fast are we running, and are we really running as hard as we can to the ball.
All right, I think that's a wrap. Appreciate you.
Perfect.